necessarily resemble themselves and fuse them together as one body. Most of the time you will see something very interesting, that your left eye, as I'm looking at you now, is smaller than your right eye. You understand?
Yes. Your perspective could be different from that of the others.
Exactly.
Yes.
Even the two eyes
Yes.
don't resemble themselves 100%. Not to talk, one leg could be longer than the other slightly, one hand slightly longer than the other. So the Creator in His infinite wisdom made it like that. And even the vegetation that He put around us, He created such variegation in the vegetation,
Yes.
that the ensemble is now what creates pleasure. The fact that you see that this type of leaf is different from the other, this type of flower is different from the other. In His infinite wisdom, He didn't create just one tree. And so I appeal to Nigerians to accept our diversity, and instead of blaming the Almighty God for giving us this type of diversity, learn to manage the diversity. Because what we've been suffering from is deficit in capacity of management of diversity. No one body is uniform from head to toe. No one country is made of one people.
Yes.
Even the Israelites, 10 tribes of Israel, I mean, they still struggle among themselves to say, okay, I want the ruler to come from this tribe and the other one to come from this tribe. So there are not many countries born by one human being.
Yes.
So to that extent, I think that we must thank our God that in spite of whatever we feel are our differences, we've managed to stay together.
Yes.
The next point is that you must expect difficulties in your life if you want to make a successful life. A life without difficulties is an insipid life. It's a life bereft of achievements. Your achievements and your pleasures and your happiness is your ability to surmount the challenges of life. That is why there are hills and valleys. There are oceans and deserts. God created them like that, night and day. So this dualism of difficulties and pleasure is what gives the pep to life. And so Nigerians shouldn't expect that it should be all sugar in the morning, sugar in the afternoon, sugar in the evening, sugar in the night.
Yes.
You end up with diabetes.
Yes.
So we shouldn't be crying all the time. Why do we have to? We must be able to manage our difficulties and our varieties and forge ahead as a great nation.
Yes. Against the backdrop of these, the lack of El Dorado setting of any country in the world, life in Israel is full of struggle to an individual, let alone a country of numerous tribes as an entity. You made a point earlier, General. You talk about the advancement in technology, in agriculture, in information, and what have you. These are another complexities of life that a nation is trying to manage.
Exactly.
From what we come, from where the nation come to this particular time, we had to fight ourselves. But just like Chino Achebe, he says anger against a brother does not fall in the marrow.
No.
But on the flesh it can easily be washed. And we washed it up. And is there any difficulty that we can wash off all those things today? If we could do that in the past.
Matter of washing is a continuous exercise of the body, of the mind, and of the spirit.
Yes.
There is no birth, at least of the human race, that has come clean, without crying, and without resolving the environment so that life will continue. Many nations have been born after the wars of dynastic rulers. Some of oppressive tribes And some have been born in recent times out of colonialism. We say our own freedom from colonialism was peaceful, peacefully negotiated. But if there was no colonialism, unlike India, China, before they were colonized, or the European empires, we will still have become a nation. Perhaps not a nation like Nigeria. Perhaps the colonization has speeded up and decided for us, in the context of colonial powers, what nation we have become. Now, having said that, and having gotten independence, we still have to build a contemporary nation that suits our being, that we engineer our existence. But this must be done within an already given context of modern world. You can't go off without recognizing that we have become a nation under United Nations because there had been wars, there had been the League of Nations,
Yes.
and there is now United Nations. To be a nation, you have to operate within the ambits of agreements and treaties and recognitions like human rights, self-determination. All these have presented us with a new civilized world in which we cannot go on our own to say we want to create, we want to be. The rest of the world will tell you, you can be what we can allow you to be. We will assist you to be what you want to be, that we want you to be, an independent sovereign state.
Yes.
So if you have threats to it, and we see you are going to create such anarchy and commotion in terms of the existing world order, we will come in with might and civilization and assist you in the way we best think
Yes.
you should order yourself to belong to the existing world order.
Yes.
So we do have challenges,
Yes.
and we need that washing and cleaning up of our conscience. The world and ourselves recognize that we cannot make progress in an atmosphere of total corruption
Yes.
or without certain standard of morals and ethics to operate in any sphere of either the economy or social associations.
Yes, sir. Yeah, well, you know, when you are talking against the backdrop of your tremendous knowledge, you wouldn't live here. But, you know, we've set the agenda.
Yes.
And he's talking about the rule of law and the principle of social contract. You know, the responsibility of the government on the governed and that of the governed on the government. And Nigeria has come a long way. Let's take the current administration of Muhammad Buhari. When he came in 1984, he talked about that fight against corruption and also the rule, people that are going against the rule of law. You remember Andrew on NTA. Nigeria is our country. We have got no other one. We must remain here and salvage it together.
But we're still
yes,
here.
Yeah. And now the president talked about the change begins with me. And talking about corruption, all these indices of civilization, and of course, on the way forward towards a greater nation ahead. What is the challenge before us in a short form, kind of? Because when we see the director is telling me that we have only a few minutes, so let me hear from you.
Well, I won't go too far. General said something.
Yes.
If you want to conform to the Committee of Nations, there are set standards. Otherwise, you are not admitted in the Committee of Nations. And when he was talking, where I was smiling, I remember the road safety corps. We are driving now on the left. If you see somebody driving, driving on the right,
you see somebody coming
you
on
stop
the left
him
here.
instantly because you say this is not standard practice. Even your neighbor, when it constitutes a nuisance, you will say, sorry, we can't live as neighbors. You report to the police so that there will be environmental harmony. So we cannot be going left when the entire world is going right. Those standards of world values, world ethics that make people get accepted and admitted as civilized human beings must be kept. It is not only Nigeria. And that is why anybody can get up here and cry to the world to say, sorry, this person has looted our money and brought into your economy, bring it back. And the other people respond. So I think the fight against corruption must be embedded in our psyche. It doesn't just have to be a government policy. Otherwise, when you change government, it could change. It must be embedded in our psyche that when I live here, I will not take this microphone, I will not hide this entire microphone inside my pocket and go simply because you didn't catch me. That the standard of behavior is that you don't take what is not yours.
Yes.
And as he said, it was in our ethos, in our traditional ethos, that, as I said, my parents brought me up to say, don't pick another person's thing. It's not talking of stealing. Don't even pick. If you see it lying loose, don't pick. And I think we should be embedding this in our progeny so that we don't make it a matter of politics that, okay, this government said don't steal. Suppose that government goes. It should be in our national moral ethos that you don't steal. It is not done.
Yes.
It is not accepted.
Well, thank you very much. Now that from the micro to macroeconomic level, Nigeria and the global system, just one seconds from you, if you could have managed that. The President has just come back from the 72nd General Assembly of the United Nations. Nigeria was highly commended, especially by providing solutions to certain problems that we have, insecurity across the globe, especially Myanmar and the North Korean stance today. When he came back, we had the same applause for Mr. President. This was a trend since 1960-61 when Tafawa Balewa went to the United Nations. Talking about Nigeria will never encroach into other people's sovereign status, let alone allowing them to come to us. So we have a great deal to do. Nigeria in the global system at 57, what do you think should be the way forward? Just for a second, sir.
Well, the way forward is always a reflection of our internal perception of self that we project. And I think that if we can get over the attitude that we had of colonial times, that there's always a master, and therefore don't think we are doing things to ourselves, for ourselves, but exploiting some freedom from a master, then we will continue to project ourselves in the terms of servitude to other people, because we believe in ourselves there must be a master class or a master race or a master.
Yes.
You may be employed, but the master and yourself have objectives you must work for.
Yes, Dr. Njoku.
We are passing through trying times. I want to entreat all Nigerians to know that when you are in the train passing through a tunnel and there's darkness in the tunnel, you don't jump out of the window simply because there is darkness. After the tunnel, you will see light. When you are flying and there is turbulence, you don't open the windows of the aeroplane and jump out. You pray hard, trust the pilot. After the turbulence, you may start sleeping until you land safely.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Dr. Njoku, for coming. Thank you, General.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Well, Nigeria within the global system and Nigeria internally. This reminds me about the President Shehu Shagari, who said that development is a long-term process. All it needs is precision and commitment. And that is what they've been saying. And Buhari today is talking about consciousness of nationhood, participation, collective responsibility. Thank you very much for reawakening the conscience of Nigerians towards that. Thank you very much.
And
thank you for watching.
say happy independence.
Happy independence.
Yes,
Yes.
to Nigeria. To Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, General. Yes,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
General.
Thank you.
Thank
I am
Nigeria.
Aliyu Baba Barrow. Thank you very much.
Thank
Goodbye.
you. Thank you.